Hey, this is Mark, and today I've got another iPhone 6 with no backlight. This particular one has already been to somebody on eBay to have it repaired, and it looks like they have replaced the filter, and that didn't solve it, so they kind of just said, I give up. And I guess that's kind of what you can expect paying eBay prices. So it ended up on my desk. And I can see that the diode is also blown, and there's this crack in the coil right here, and I've already knocked off the black stuff that was being pushed out, but there was some black goop coming out, which we know is the coating on the coiled wire itself inside here. And once that starts to melt due to the heat because of the short to ground, it reduces the inductance of the coil so that backlight will never get to full brightness again. And the original problem is going to be one of these three capacitors being short. And this is a good example because you run into this from time to time where, as you can see on my multimeter, this line is testing good, 0.646. That is not showing that there's a short to ground on this line. But definitely, I know just from experience and seeing this kind of damage, that's only caused by one of these capacitors shorting to ground. So I expect that, if I was to just replace everything, I'm going to blow that diode again and probably melt the new coil. And, after a couple of times of doing that, maybe then these will start testing short. But rather than waste time doing all that, I'm just going to go ahead and replace all three of them, because I don't have any way to tell which one it is since the line isn't testing short. So, yeah. I think I'm ready to get started then. So I'm going to use hot air. This driver is probably fine, but since I'm using hot air and it's underfilled, I'm going to go ahead and replace the driver as well as the diode, and the coil, and the three capacitors. It's a little easier to get these guys off if I get rid of some of this underfill. And that's one of the few times that my magnetic tweezers actually come in handy. Pick the rest of this underfill out while the board is still hot and everything is nice and soft. These two capacitors on the end here are on VCC main, and they don't need to be replaced. All right. Now I will remove this coil, and as you can see, it's already pooping out more of the coating on the wires. The coil is always the hardest thing to get off out of all of this because it has a lot of strong, hard underfill underneath of it. Oh, there go those caps. Maybe I can find them. Yay. So as you can see, this underfill that's around this coil I removed is not the rubbery stuff that was over everything else. This is the really hard stuff that they put under the CPU. All right, now I will go over everything with some leaded solder to make the installation of the new parts go a lot easier. I'm trying to pull just a little bit of the solder off. I've got a little more than I want on these pads. All right, I think now I'm ready to start placing the new components. Come on, little diode, get out of there. Well, it did come out, but where did it go? There it is. And we'll do the caps next. All right, so that is good enough with those. They'll settle down once I put hot air on it. Now I will get the coil in place. Again, this will settle itself once I get the hot air on there. I just need it on there good enough to hold it in place. All right. A little bit of flux and everything should settle itself just right. All right, I think that looks good. Let's check on the multimeter and see what is our diode mode. 300 and climbing. That's about right. It should, as the board cools, it should end at about between 520 and 600, somewhere around there. Let me see if I have all the parts. All right, that is a good sign. We do have backlight again. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and hook up a screen that has a home button. That way I can show that backlight is reaching full brightness. Come on, phone. Oh. And of course, I do not have a passcode provided. So I guess we're not going to see if it gets to full brightness. One thing I can do to check is put the proximity sensor, or the ambient light sensor, up to my microscope light, and it does get bright. I mean, that's as bright as you expect it to get there. So, yep, I guess that's all there is here. Thanks for watching.